Hey everyone, here's my predictions for who's going to come out of the groups in the Grand Slam of Darts 2021. Okay, here's my predictions for the Grand Slam of Darts. And I gotta tell you, what a weekend's coming up. This is beautiful. I got 2 Leaf games. Calgary tonight, Buffalo tomorrow. Gonna have my Leaf shirt on later on today. Make sure that they get the wins. Also have the Cowboys playing against Atlanta on Sunday afternoon. And in the meantime, I've got Grand Slam of Darts that starts tomorrow morning for us in North America and Canada. And we'll be watching darts for the next week and a half, or week and a bit. So this is fantastic. Let's get into some of the predictions. First of all, I like the Grand Slam of Darts. I know some people don't like the Grand Slam of Darts, but I'm going to take umbrage with one thing on the Grand Slam of Darts. And this is the qualification to get into the Grand Slam of Darts. So there's rules. I've got the rules. This used to be the BDO tournament. We're going to invite 8 people from the BDO to come in. And obviously with the folding of the BDO, that ain't happening anymore. So, you know, there's some qualifications. They always had the World Youth Championship in there. They always had, if you made it to the final of a televised event, you get into the Grand Slam of Darts. That hasn't changed. But what I think is off is the amount of qualifiers that they had to qualify. There was 8 qualifiers allowed to qualify. Now, my problem with it is if we take a look at who's won some tournaments this year, there's some notable names that should be in this tournament and others that should not be in this tournament. So if I take a look at the winners, so you've got your qualification, the people that made the TV tournaments, and yes, the John Henderson, the Roby John Rodriguez gets through, but that's the rules. How did Raymond Van Barneveld made the Grand Slam of Darts for, 6 straight years? He rode the coattails of the Chihuahua. So this has happened. You don't have to change those rules. I'm fine with those rules. But it's the BDO piece where now you don't have the BDO players. So the Women's Championship, top 2 qualifiers, I got no problem with that. Absolutely no problem with it. I believe you got to grow the game, and to grow the game, you got to have a route to get there. That's why I don't have a problem with the World Youth Championship final to be there as well, and also the development tours. So that finds Rusty Jake and Matt Campbell in the tournament. I've got no problem with that. What I'm talking about is the 8 qualifiers from the PDC where they actually had to qualify. I just think that's wrong, and here's why I think it's wrong. There's players that have won Players' Championships this year that are not there. Matter of fact, you got one that won 2, Kellen Ritz, who's not there. You should be given more credit for getting a PDC championship, going through, 6 players to get there? Like, let's see who Kellen Ritz beat. Like, Kellen Ritz has beat, Johnny Clayton in a final? Oh, sorry for that. You don't get to move on. It's just ridiculous. So if you take a look at the qualifiers, 3 of the people that qualified won a championship. I don't think there should have been a qualification. So you have Raymond Van Barneveld got through, Krzysztof Rutowski got through, and he'd won a championship. And then you also have Stephen Bunting. They've all won floor tournaments this year. Definitely deserve to qualify. But instead of Mike DeDecker, Gabriel Clemens, Martin Schindler, who I think is a great player, don't get me wrong, you'll hear about that later, Ryan Joyce, and Boris Kirschmar should be in. My thoughts are you give it to the people who actually won tournaments this year. Ryan Searle not being in this tournament is disgusting. The guy went out to another person who should be in the tournament, Ross Smith, with 104 average. And he's not there. He just got blitzed in 1 game. He won a Players' Championship over Peter Wright. He also made finals. He played Dobie. Dobie wouldn't have been in this tournament if it wasn't for Dimitri Vandenberg not qualifying. Dobie's won 2 tournaments. You know I'm not the biggest Dobie fan, but he's won 2 tournaments. You got to be there. So I think Dobie getting in is good, but you're missing Ryan Searle. You're missing Kellen Ritz, who's won 2. That's amazing that a guy who won 2 isn't even there. You're missing Brandon Dolan, who's won. He lost out to Raymond Van Barneveld in the final of the qualifications. He's won a tournament. He won it over Michael Smith. You've got Ross Smith, not in the tournament. Again, he lost in the final round. At the qualification, he won a tournament. And you got Dirk van Duijvenbode. Those are the guys that should be in. Tell me this tournament's not better. Just let me know. Is it going to be better? You want people that have won tournaments, in my opinion. But it is what it is. So I do think the qualification's off. Now that the BDO is not there, I know they're going to probably be looking at the WDF, sorry, my apologies, and MAD, and I don't quite understand those leagues. I should probably get to know them a little bit better, but I like everything else except for the PDC, the qualifications. To me, to qualify, you have to win a tournament. And if you do that, and then if there's any extra spots after, because someone wins all the tournaments in the year, then have a qualification for 2 or 3 or 4 spots, not for 8 spots. It just makes no sense. You're not giving credit to people who have won tournaments. Now that I'm done my spiel on this, let's get into the groups. So the first group up, again, I think this is the second toughest group. This is a tough group. You've got Gerwin Price, Christoph Ratowski, Martin Schindler, and I think Nathan Rafferty. Poor Nathan Rafferty. I do like him as a player, but that is not a good draw. There's much better draws to have out there. You've got 3 players, solid form. Price, Ratowski, the Polish Eagle, the Polish Assassin. Love Christoph Ratowski, and Martin Schindler, who I think is a beauty of a player. I don't know what's happened to him over the last year, but he has gotten better. He is fantastic to watch. I think you're going to have some great games here. So it's going to be the 2 players that are going to come out. Now, what I'm going to do is just pick the groups, who I think is going to finish first and second. I'm not going to get into the games because I'll be here forever. There's so many bloody games over the next 3 days, or over the next, starting tomorrow, 3 days. So I'm just going to give you who I think is going to finish first in the group. I'm going to take Gerwin Price to finish first. And this group is going to be decided on day 1 with the Christoph Ratowski Martin Schindler match. I just like Ratowski. I just think he's consistent. Again, I would not be shocked if Schindler blitzes him. Wouldn't be shocked at all. I wouldn't be shocked if Martin Schindler won this group. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. But if I have to make a pick, I'm not laying any money down on this group for sure. But my pick is going to be Gerwin Price 1, Christoph Ratowski 2. The next group I think is going to be a little bit easier to pick. You got Johnny Clayton, Mervyn King, Bradley Brooks, and Rusty Jake Rodriguez. Now, I know Rusty Jake's had a great tournament on the development tour. I just don't... I'm sorry, there's 2 players in this that are seasoned, ready to go, and they're going to blitz them. So I think it's Johnny Clayton 1, Mervyn King 2. I believe Bradley Brooks has no shot. Rusty Jake might have a shot to get in there. Guess it depends on how he plays against Mervyn, or maybe in the first round if he can get ahead of Johnny and blitz him. But short format gives you a chance. I just think Johnny Clayton is just on a different level than everyone else, and Mervyn King is just consistent and has a lot of experience. So I see it going 1, Johnny Clayton, 2 to Mervyn King. The next group up, I think this is where everyone wanted to draw in. You've got James Wade as the seed, and then you've got Rob Cross, Boris Kirschmar, and Jim Williams. Again, I guarantee Nathan Rafferty wanted that group. Of all the seeds, you could argue that maybe Peter Wright and Gary Anderson might be in worse form than James Wade. But, you know, on the stage, James Wade hasn't done much. James Wade's not going to play. He doesn't have he's a great player. Again, you know I hate him because of his personality, because he has none. He's a dick. He comes off as one anyways. He might be the nicest guy but he's just terrible. Talks about flutting feathers or whatever, peacocks or whatever the frig he's talking about. He's a joke when it comes to... He should just not get interviewed. His management should just prevent him from being interviewed because he comes off like a sod. But anyways, he's going to give you the same game all the time. He's not going to hit you with 110 average. He's going to hit you with a mid-90s average, and he's probably going to take out a couple outs, which is good. But I think if you're a player that shows up with an A game, that you can beat him. I think Jim Williams and Boris Kirschmar could beat James Wade. I believe Rob Cross is the best player coming into this, and I believe he's going to be the one who wins the group. So I've got Rob Cross 1. I just think, again, James Wade, I'm taking a look at what he could have drawn. You know, what he could have drawn is like a Mensur Silovic and, you know, Matt Campbell. And I'm thinking he's looking a little bit different than this. But I think with Boris Kirschmar and Jim Williams, he'll be able to get through. So I've got Cross 1, Wade 2. Next group up, Group E, you got Peter Wright, Gabriel Clemens, Mike DeDecker, and Fallon Sherrick. Now, I guess this is where all the eyes will be looking. This one in Group G. Mike DeDecker obviously had to get good form to beat Kim Huybrechts in a qualifier. I don't think he should be there. This would be a great one to see Ryan Searle or Dirk Van Duijvenbode or Kellen Ritz, you name it. But anyways, it is what it is. Clemens qualified too. You could have saw Ritz and Searle, Wright, and Sherrick, and tell me that's not a fantastic group. But I digress. It is what it is. Question would be: Is does Sherrick have a chance here? I guess that's what everyone's asking. I I think she does. And first of all, you got Peter Wright not in good form, and who knows what darts. If the guy brings out bullets, I'll give Sherrick the first game. Again, I'm going to be on my betting site waiting to see what Price or Wright's throwing, and if he's throwing the crap, the money's going on Sherrick. Wright's been terrible lately, although it did seem he went back to a darts. When I say terrible, his terrible is 90 average. It's not terrible, but he's not been on form of the world match play form. I still think he's going to like the draw, to be honest with you. I think he's not going to, I don't suspect Wright's going to be intimidated by, playing Sherrick. I don't think that goes into his mind at all. He doesn't seem like that kind of player. So I like him to beat Sherrick in the first round. And I think, again, that's where you get, the second game is going to be the big one. I'm going to predict that Clemens is going to beat De Decker. So that would leave in the second day of round that, Wright would beat Clemens, or Wright would play Clemens. I think he would beat Clemens. And you got De Decker against Sherrick. I think De Decker could be, just because I think Sherrick might even be a better player than De Decker on the day. And if Sherrick can get that win, now she's going to be playing Clemens to get in. Ooh, I got to tell you, Clemens sometimes on TV doesn't seem like he's going to be able to handle that challenge. I think that would be a doozy. So I'm going to go a little bit off the board here. I think Wright's going to win this round. I don't know how he's going to do in the tournament, but I think he's going to get top of this group. I like Wright to be number 1, and I'm going to take Fallon Sherrick to be 2. I think there's an opportunity there. Although you would have put Sherrick in a different group, I think you'd be set. Now, I think I did miss a group, so I'm an idiot. So that was Group B. Maybe I should go to Group D. And maybe I did that because they changed a player. So Dimitri Vandenberg I guess he got tested positive for COVID. And so Chris Dobie steps in. Now, Chris Dobie deserves to be there. I don't know how he got picked over Ritz, maybe because he won an earlier tournament. But Dobie also won 2 rounds. So you got Dobie, Bunting, Joyce, and Roby John Rodriguez. We got both Rodriguez brothers there. It's kind of cool. What do I see in this one? It's amazing. The guy who steps in, I think, is the best player. I did not have Dimitri Vandenberg get into the next round, but I definitely have Dobie getting in. So I've got Dobie to win this, and I think he's going to win it handily, the way he's been playing. I like him. So Dobie to be number 1, and again, I think it's a toss-up. You could choose any one of the other 3 players for number 2. It is that close. I'm a big fan of Ryan Joyce. When he gets going, he's hot, and he's played well on TV. But I still think, scoring-wise, I don't think he's going to have enough to get there. I think he's dynamite on doubles, but I think scoring-wise, Bunting's just going to have more scoring. And I wouldn't be shocked if Roby John gets through, but I'm going to take Bunting to be number 2. So I did do Group E already, so I apologize for skipping it. Like the guy who did the draw, who just nailed Boris Kirschmark twice. I don't know. Group F, the group of death. This is insane. Everyone who'd gotten a draw in there went, what the hell happened? You got Josie D'Souza, Luke Humphries, Mensur Suljovic, and Matt Campbell. If you took balls and said, who's the best player in the third group? I'm sorry, to me, Mensur Suljovic is the best. And if you take the second group, if I go across, yeah, it's not great. You're not going to pull any trees up there. There's some good players there. But Humphries is a good player. Played well on TV, got to a UK Open final. And then if you take the last group, to me, Matt Campbell's your best player. So you got the best player on Group 3 and the best player in Group 4 in terms of the balls. And they get in the same group with Jose D'Souza and Luke Humphries. Jesus. You could make an argument for all 4 winning this group. And you can make an argument for all 4 to get number 2. So if I'm going to fail somewhere, this is the group I'm going to fail. Now, I'm a Canadian. I really do want Matt Campbell to win. I love watching him on TV. He had one of the best games against Scott Waits in the world, or in the World Championship last year. I'm sorry, he's just got too much quality in front of him. I like Luke Humphries to win this group, or that's what I'm going to pick, and I'm going to pick Josie D'Souza to finish second. Although you could give me an argument, Suljovic wins it and Campbell second, and I'm going to go, yep. This is just my feeling, picks. I don't think there's anything behind that. I mean, it's going to be a good group in terms of probably your betting lines. You're going to find some value in there because there's not going to be this huge favorites. You're going to probably get a Campbell over D'Souza might be a good pick. Suljovic over Humphries, who's your favorite. It's going to be even odds there. So, anyways, Group G, again, Chihuahua with a hell of a draw. Michael Van Gerwen, Joe Cullen, those are 2 good players. And then you got John Henderson, who is the worst player, let's be honest, is the worst player in the Group 3. And then Lisa Ashton, who, I won't say she's the worst player in Group 4, but can she hold up to Joe Cullen and MVG scoring? I just don't think so. One thing you'll notice, or one thing I've noticed, so I give Lisa Ashton the first time not the first time, but when I saw her on a TV and she took that first set from Jan Decker in the World Championship a couple years ago, I went, holy Christ, no one's gonna handle that. I don't care who you are. That is a hell of a set of darts. And then went on to not finish it up. And the one thing I've noticed with Lisa is, it's not despair. I don't want to be disparaging, but there's a lot of players like this. Ian White's like this. Just not good on TV. Does not hit the doubles when you need to. Or someone like Sherrick, I find when she's on TV, she hits more doubles than when she's not on TV. It's a weird thing. Do I think Lisa Ashton's got a chance? To have a chance, she's got to beat one of Joe Cullen or Michael Van Gerwen. I think she can beat John Henderson. I'm going to take her to not finish last in this pool. I think John Henderson is your least informed player. Who knows? Maybe she gets a little lead. No, let's face it. If you take a look at what Sherrick did to MVG over a short format in the World Darts or the World Cup, or not World Cup of Darts, the Dart World Series, whatever they call it, final. Nordic Darts Master, sorry, that's what I was looking for. Nordic Darts Master. She would have won it because she got to 5 first. So the possibility's there. I just don't see it. I see Joe Cullen winning this one as one, and the Chihuahua coming in second in this group. And then the last group, again, I think this one's a pretty easy one to pick, unfortunately. Gary Anderson, Michael Smith, Raymond van Barneveld, and Joe Davis. Joe Davis has an injury coming in. It's a tough group. I think he might be able to beat Gary Anderson because I don't think Gary Anderson's in any form whatsoever. I think it's going to be an easy pick. It's Michael Smith and Raymond van Barneveld, 1-2 coming out of there. And what spot did they finish? I'm going to take Michael Smith to be 1 and Raymond van Barneveld to be number 2. All right, well, I hope everyone enjoys the darts. I'll talk to you, I guess it will be Monday night here, because the first 3 round games will be through, and then we'll know who's going to be playing in round 2. Hope everyone enjoys the darts. I know I will be. And go Leafs go, go Cowboys go, and go my picks go. Cheers.